The colossal sauropods discovered in Argentina, creatures like Argentinosaurus, are estimated to have weighed between 50 and 80 metric tons. That is heavier than a fully loaded semi-truck, walking around on 4 legs, eating plants. To ground that number in today's biology, the African elephant struggles to reach 7 tons. The sauropods were operating in a completely different league, outweighing the largest living land mammal by a factor of 10. According to the laws of physics, an A-ton land animal is a contradiction. Gravity should snap its bones, its lungs should fail to draw enough oxygen, and its heart should give out from the immense pressure of pumping blood through a body the size of a building. These animals thrived for over 100 million years because they utilized 5 separate body systems, each feeding into the next to overcome these physical constraints. Measured, each of these adaptations was necessary. To understand the sauropod is to see how 5 ordinary survival traits combined into a chain reaction that allowed them to live where other animals would collapse. The first adaptation is found in the skeleton. While a giant might seem to require dense, heavy bone, the sauropods reached record weights by evolving a frame that was mostly empty space. A cross-section of a sauropod's backbone reveals a honeycomb of hollow chambers. In some species, the neck bones were 90. This constant flow also acted as an internal air conditioner, dumping the intense heat of its massive organs directly out through the skeleton. This combination of weight-saving bones and a supercooled engine provided the necessary physical foundation for the sauropod to begin extending its reach. Because the skeleton was so light, these animals could grow necks that stretched to unprecedented lengths without tipping over. To maintain this balance, they evolved a tiny head. A heavy skull with thick chewing muscles would have acted as dead weight at the end of a 40-foot pole, making the long neck impossible to lift. The small head turned the neck into a biological crane. Sauropods did not chew. They used simple peg-like teeth to rake in whole branches and leaves, swallowing them raw to be processed by a massive internal gut. This saved immense energy. Standing still and sweeping a long neck across the forest canopy allowed them to harvest a massive number of calories without the metabolic cost of walking from tree to tree. By treating their teeth as disposable tools and their necks as energy-saving cranes, sauropods became the most efficient calorie harvesters in the history of land animals. However, getting big creates a vulnerability. Larger animals usually take longer to reach adulthood, leaving their young exposed to predators for years. Sauropods overcame this by abandoning the modern model of parenting. Instead of protecting a single calf, they became egg-laying machines, producing hundreds of offspring every year. A mother the size of a passenger plane would lay eggs no larger than a soccer ball. She would move on immediately, leaving sheer numerical volume to ensure that at least a few hatchlings survived to adulthood. For those survivors, growth was explosive. This bone cross-section shows growth lines proving that young sauropods could add 1,500 kilograms, the weight of a small car, to their bodies every single year. This blistering growth rate proves their metabolisms ran far hotter than modern reptiles. They outran death by simply outgrowing their predators at a speed rarely seen in almost any other lineage. This combination of mass reproduction and rapid growth allowed the sauropods to maintain their populations despite high levels of predation. This brand of gigantism functions as a rigid biological cascade. Every adaptation is entirely dependent on the one that came before it. If you remove any single step, the system fails. A long neck without air-filled bones is too heavy to lift. Rocket-fast growth without an efficient feeding neck leads to starvation. While blue whales are heavier, they bypass the physical limits of land by living in the ocean. The water provides the buoyancy required to support their mass from every side. On dry land, there is no buoyancy to offset the pull of gravity. Under these conditions, the sauropods remain the undisputed champions of terrestrial size. In the millions of years since the asteroid impact, no other lineage has managed to align these 5 specific biological systems. This skeleton represents a specific convergence of 5 survival strategies, a level of physical engineering that the Earth has never managed to build twice.